Police have torn down tents which were homes to thousands of protesters for nearly 2 months. But the demonstrators have vowed not to back down despite this latest police raid. Oakland officials insisted an end to the protest had to happen after a man was shot and killed near the camp on Thursday. Well, I'm now joined on the line by Jesse Falk-Finley, who's an activist and who's also part of the protest in Oakland. Describe for us, if you would, the situation now. Has the police been able to clear much of the occupied protest camp?
Yes, that's correct. Thanks for having me on. The police have cleared the entire park area, which is in front of City Hall here in Oakland. They're holding a perimeter around the entire block and dismantling all of the tents here. There's still about 100 or so protesters on the main street. So the main street, Broadway, that goes through the center of downtown Oakland is going to be completely shut down during the rush hour commute.
And so how is this latest move by the police going to affect the determination of activists and protesters to carry on demonstrating despite this latest raid?
Yes, part of the plan in anticipation for this has always been, if there were to be a police raid, everyone would meet at 4 o'clock at the main library to have a general assembly and figure out next action. The people here are very determined to make sure that this movement is not swept under the rug quietly, that it's here to stay.
Jesse Falk-Finley, thanks very much for joining us and giving us your perspective from the streets of Oakland surrounding the Occupy Oakland encampment. We can now go to Bob Riddell, who's a reporter for NBC News. He also joins us live from Oakland. Why did the police then decide to move in on the camp this morning in the early hours? I think it was something like 5 or 6 a.m. when they began dismantling some of the tents and making some of the first few arrests. Did it follow an overnight disturbance?
Well, it started actually a few hours ago, around 4 o'clock, when police, what they did is they started shutting down a lot of the roads around the Ogawa Plaza here in downtown Oakland to try to keep traffic out. Then around 5 o'clock local time, they set up a perimeter around the campsite, which is beyond this line right here. At 6 o'clock, that's when they went in and started their sweep. They arrested around 20 to 25 people. There were not many people who actually chose to stay inside the camp. Many of them decided to stay out here in the intersection where you can see some of them are still remaining chanting at police officers. The arrests were very businesslike. Officers told the protesters, if you want to be arrested, please stay seated where you are. We'll have you stand up and we'll put links on you. And that's exactly what they did. Those protesters that we saw who were arrested went very peacefully. There was never any sort of physical confrontation with police. So right now that plaza is shut down to the general public. They'll be sending in the Public Works Department to come in there and clean up all the camping materials and all the other debris that has been left in there. There is quite a lot in there, so it would take a while to clean up. And it is our understanding they'll be keeping this plaza shut down for quite some time. This is different than the first sweep that took place October 25th when police did something similar. They went in, they cleared out the plaza, but then they let the campers come back in within a day or so. Of course, this time it seems like they're going to try to keep them out for a much longer time. Back to you.
Bob Riddell, thanks very much indeed for that update.